In the scorching savanna of Africa, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, there was a village called Akua. It was a place where tradition and superstition reigned supreme, and the villagers believed in the curse of the evil eye. Amidst this backdrop, a young boy named Kofi was born, with a destiny that would be forever entwined with tragedy and bloodshed. Kofi's life took a devastating turn when he was just 14 years old. His parents, the village chief and a respected healer, were killed in a horrific accident, leaving him orphaned and alone. The villagers, who had always been wary of Kofi's family due to their strange powers, saw this as a sign of the curse. They began to torment Kofi, believing that he was the embodiment of evil. The relatives who took Kofi and showed him no kindness, treating him as a servant rather than a grieving child. They made him sleep in the barn with the animals and forced him to work tirelessly in the fields. The villagers would often taunt him, calling him devil's spawn and curse bearer. The pain and anguish Kofi endured during those 6 years would shape his future and fuel his rage. As Kofi turned 20, something within him snapped. The accumulation of pain, anger, and helplessness transformed him into a psychopath with an insatiable thirst for vengeance. He began to stalk the villagers, watching them with cold calculation, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Kofi's first victim was the village elder who had tormented him the most. He lured the elder into the forest, where he had set a trap, and then slit his throat with a machete. The villagers were shocked and terrified, but they didn't know who was behind the gruesome murder. As the bodies began to pile up, the villagers realized that they were facing a ruthless killer. Kofi's modus operandi was to target those who had wronged him in the past, making it seem like the curse had finally caught up with them. The villagers lived in fear, wondering who would be next. One brave warrior, named Akua, decided to take matters into his own hands. He had lost his own family to Kofi's rampage and was determined to bring the killer to justice. Akua tracked Kofi down, but the young psychopath was always one step ahead. Their cat and mouse game became a thrilling spectacle, with the villagers watching in horror as Kofi continued his killing spree. Akua refused to give up, even when Kofi kidnapped his sister and used her as bait. The final confrontation took place in the same forest where Kofi's parents had died. In a heart-pumping battle, Akua and Kofi clashed, their machetes clashing in a flurry of blows. Just as Akua seemed to gain the upper hand, Kofi revealed his trump card. A vial of poison that would ensure his revenge would live on even after his death. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in an eerie twilight, Akua managed to overpower Kofi, but not before the young psychopath had inflicted a mortal wound on the warrior. With his last breath, Kofi whispered, "The curse will never die." And so, the villagers of Akua lived in fear, knowing that the shadow of vengeance still lurked in the darkness, waiting for its next victim. The legend of Kofi, the psychopath killer, became a cautionary tale, told around campfires to frighten children into behaving. But deep down, they knew that the true horror was not the killer, but the society that had created him. Years went by, and the village of Akua tried to heal from the wounds of the past. But the curse of the evil eye still lingered, and the villagers whispered of a new generation of Kofis, born with the same hunger for vengeance. The story of the psychopath killer became a reminder that the cycle of violence and trauma would continue until the society confronted its dark past and sought redemption. As the years passed, a young boy named Kwame grew up in Akua, haunted by the stories of Kofi's reign of terror. Kwame was different from the others, with a curious mind and a desire to understand the complexities of human nature. He began to investigate the truth behind Kofi's transformation, delving into the dark secrets of the village's past. Kwame's quest for knowledge led him to an ancient wise woman who revealed the long-forgotten truth about Kofi's family and their strange powers. The wise woman told Kwame that the curse was not a supernatural phenomenon, but a manifestation of the village's collective guilt and fear. Armed with this knowledge, Kwame returned to Akua, determined to break the cycle of violence and trauma. He shared his findings with the villagers,